Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Talking Real Estate with Champions Real Estate Team here at Berkshire Hathaway Home Service Ambassador Real Estate Company. My name is Mark Wehner, team leader here at Champions Real Estate Team. Joining me today is Russ Williams. So we usually jump on here on Wednesdays. Today is obviously Thursday. Yesterday, obviously, we had the big blizzard come through the Omaha metro area. And I was just kind of getting crazy. I had the kiddos home and all that fun stuff. So just didn't get a chance to jump on and give you a rundown on what's going on in the real estate market over the last 7 days. So we got 7 days plus one, I guess, here on our data. Little information stuff here. So we should start off quick tips. So quick tip today is talking about home inspections and pre-inspection. I guess we'll talk more on the pre-inspection side. I think we kind of know a little bit about the home inspection side. So pre-inspection, what that means is basically if we're going to list a house for sale, that seller may want to do a pre-inspection, an inspection before it goes active on the market. So, some sellers are like, well, I don't want to know what's going on with my house. I don't want to, why would I want to show any red flags before we get the home listed? Or let's just deal with that, at the time of when we're under contract, and then they have 14 days typically that buyer does to do any inspections. Well, there's pros and cons obviously to both sides of it. So the pros, right now, especially as we're going into, we'll see in the numbers, is that inventory is starting to drop a little bit. And as we go into more in the spring months, and we get into actually today's the first day of spring. So congratulations on the spring. Happy spring. But so as we get more competitive offers potentially, and you get multiple offers on it, conversations I have with my buyers, I always recommend to all my clients to do a home inspection. Well, when you get 5 offers, 10 offers, 3 offers on a house, some of those may choose not to do a home inspection to make their offer more attractive to that seller. Well, and if they're doing that, they may not offer as high because they're risking, they don't know what they're getting into as a buyer. Like, okay, well, if this house is listed at 400,000, well, maybe we go up to like 405, 410. But if it had an inspection, pre-inspection, and we knew what was any, skeletons in the closet type of thing, maybe we'd offer a little bit more because we really love that house. So getting back from a seller's perspective, is it doing that home inspection, if a buyer does a home inspection during the, pending period when a house is under contract, you're stressed for time, you're trying to figure out, get a contractor that can do the job. A lot of the good contractors are busy and they may be booked out a little bit in that side of it. And then you have a window to get those repairs done, so from a seller's perspective, you do that pre-inspection, you know exactly what's things that have come up on that inspection. You can choose to, do some of those items, so that seller feels all warm and fuzzy inside, or you may choose to adjust your listing price saying, hey, we know that it has a foundation issue. We don't want to put, X amount of thousands of dollars into that foundation. So let's price it accordingly. And then that buyer can make the decision on what they would like to do with that. And they can maybe get that house a little bit, less those repairs type of thing, but you're making that determination up front. So what you're getting into. You're not in that inspection period. Oh my goodness, we got a $10,000, foundation issue, sewer issue, roof issue, any of those type of things. And then you can make that decision to get it done. And if you're thinking about getting your house listed, you may do that 2, 3, 4 months before you even get the house ready. So now you know exactly what's happened, and what you can do. And you have that timeline, a more not as rushed timeline when you have 30 or 45 days, to get everything done on a home inspection. So, and like I said, so benefits, exactly what's wrong with the house, any issues that may come up. And then 2, you may get higher offers by doing that. So you may, cost of a pre-inspection typically depending on average is about $500. So you're paying $500 to get that house listed where the buyer should pay that. They're buying the house. Well, you pay 500 and that the house could have gone from 405, now you've had a pre-inspection, maybe gets 410. So now you're gaining a little bit more, coin in your pocket, at the end of the day, you're netting more from the sale of that house. So that's just kind of, there's pros and cons. Somebody just say, oh, don't do them. I'm kind of in that avenue of, here's the benefits, here the risks. Yes, there may be something that come up, but the thing is, it's going to come up anyways. And you want to have full disclosure, across that board, because you don't want those buyers to come back and say, well, you knew this, and then then it gets into the litigation and all that kind of fun stuff. And they don't want to deal with all that good stuff. So best let the buyers beware, let them make their offers accordingly, based on the condition of that house. More informed buyer is usually a more confident buyer rather than, oh, I don't know. We don't know what we're getting into. Let's offer a little bit less. Maybe they'll buy a home warranty and all that kind of fun stuff. So that's kind of our quick tip. If you have questions on that, give us a holler, reach out to me, go into more details. So like I said, we try to keep this short, sweet, to the point, and all that good stuff. So let's jump into what's gone on in the real estate market over the last 7 days plus one. I share it here in just a second. That's when we're going. There we go. All right, I think it's pulled up. There we go. All right. So we had 637 new listings go live in the last 7 days. Last week it was 670. We had 455 new contracts written. What was it last week? 390 something, 385. So, we have another, 70 listings that, 70 more buyers are out in the buyer pool than the previous week. And we had, less houses go on the market. So inevitably what that's telling us is our numbers, the new houses that are coming up are getting scooped up. And those ones that have been sitting on the market, maybe now they're seeing there's competition on the, in the neighborhood. They're going to have to say, okay, do we want to be the bridesmaid or do we want to be the bride? So maybe you got to reduce your price a little bit because you've tested the market at a little higher price and now you got to adjust and you got to come down to where that buyer pool is. Where are the fish at in the water? What level, what depth, and where do you have to set your bait, essentially to get that buyer on the hook, essentially, is, from an analogy standpoint. And then we had 319 happy new homeowners on that side. So looking at the numbers there, let's look at the 30,000 foot view numbers. So like I said, these numbers don't change all that often. So when you talk to I would say probably more the average agent that's not diving deep into the week by week numbers. They're just looking, oh, we got 2,900 homes on the market. We got 1,678, existing, in the homes on the market in the Douglas-Sarpy County, Omaha metro area. 743 existing homes, new construction at 953. And we got 3 months supply of inventory. Average sold price just under 340. So what I'm getting at is that the 2,900, we've kind of been hovering around that 2,900 mark, and people are like, oh yeah, we got low inventory, we got 3 months supply of inventory. The market's not really moving that much. But that slide I showed you before, we had 637 new houses go on the market. And last week we had 385 go off the market. We had another 455 go off the market this week. So we're seeing a good buyer surge, coming out there. So we had an extra 70 more houses go under contract than we did the previous week. So the weather's getting nicer, minus our blizzard we had yesterday. But as we look forward, we're probably in the 50s to 70s over the next 7 days. Houses are coming on the market, all that good stuff, buyer pool. So that's what I'm getting at, is that's what the demographic, and that's what we're seeing from the 30,000 foot view aspect of it. So let's jump in here with Russ and see what's going on in the mortgage world. And what do we got for us, Russ?
Well, every 6 weeks, the Federal Reserve Bank meets in their open market committee meetings to decide what they want to do with short-term interest rates. They met Tuesday and Wednesday. So yesterday they made their announcement at 1 o'clock that they were not going to change the short-term rates, at least for the time being. And that wasn't a surprise to anybody. Well, more importantly than what they do is what they say. And so recent data has been suggesting that economic activity has continued to expand at a solid pace, and unemployment seems to be stable. Keep in mind, the Fed has a dual mandate of full employment and price stability, which is inflation. They are, however, still concerned about inflation, and inflation is the arch enemy of mortgage rates. So one of the indicators that we watch every other open market committee meeting is what the Fed would call the dot plot, which means that each of the voting members will indicate how many rate cuts or rate hikes they anticipate will have over the next year. And that number from this meeting to 2 meetings ago actually went down. What that is telling us is that the Fed still feels inflation is a concern and that they might not hit their goal of 2% inflation by their measurement in the short term. So having said that, for those folks that are on the sideline waiting for rates to come down, that is an indicator from the Fed that they don't think we're going to see long-term rates move down unless we have some sort of a surprise. Certainly, we have the trade wars and the tariffs that are going on that some economists are suggesting might push inflation just a little bit. And if so, that might keep mortgage rates a little bit elevated. Having said that, and dovetailing on what you just said, Mark, with a lot of new contracts being written, home prices may see continued pressure. We're still, 3 months inventory by your sheet there. And that's still by definition a seller's market, which means it's not uncommon to have multiple offers. So if rates don't move over the next year, you may be paying not only more for that house next year, but also more in mortgage payment if inflation does remain sticky and rates stay high. So what I would tell you is get in touch with Mark and his team now to put a plan together. Certainly, if things change and rates come down, we can always refinance to a lower rate. But Mark has said it before, you marry the house and you date the rate. It's not a permanent loan. It's just a loan until something better comes along.
Yeah, I mean that's what we saw. I had the listing go live that was in the Exarban area on Friday. Basically, we had probably like 4 or 5 showings on that Friday. Got a great contract, and we took it. But there was also some other interest in that house. But the thing is those houses are going off the market within a day or two. And like I said, that 3 months is for the entire MLS. So when you break it down into, okay, what's the Exarban marketplace? It's probably less than 3 months supply of inventory. Because when I looked at it when we went to price that house to list it, there was some that one was pending, at the 295. We listed ours at 300, and another one was listed at 299 900. So I call that Kmart pricing. They missed all the buyers that were starting at 300. So I guess another quick tip on there. If you're a buyer looking and, oh, we want to start at 300, let's look at 300 to 400. Well, look at all those Kmart houses that basically priced it at 299 900, because what that means is people are looking up to 200. That 299 900 is their max where they want to stop at. Well, if you start your search at 295, you're going to catch all those Kmart priced houses, and you're going to be able to be more competitive because you can go up maybe to 305, and you're going to beat out that person that can only go up to 300. So that's just my other, I guess, little quick tip, strategy of when you're setting up home searches, because most of the internet home searches are set by fives and zeros. So you might not even be able to go down to 295. I can do that on the MLS for you and set that search up for you, and that's my best thing. Don't rely on Zillow and those other third-party sites, because make sure you get the houses directly from the MLS from us here at Champions Real Estate Team. But some of them may only start at 275. So now you're getting all the houses you maybe don't want, but you can get those houses that they're trying to Kmart shop. But from a psychological standpoint, well, hey, it's not quite 300. It's a little bit cheaper than 300,000. Well, no, for $100, you missed all those houses. And from a listing strategy, put it at 300, so that you catch all the buyers on both ends of the spectrum there. So, but when I looked at that, excuse me, there are some other houses that are still active on the market in the Exarban area, but those ones have been on for 28 days, 25 days, and the ones that you see that are pending are the only ones that have been on there for 1 day, 2 days. So the ones that are maybe overpriced and based on condition or location, it just depends on what you're looking at there. You got to make sure that from a buyer's perspective, yeah, there's houses on the market, but we're waiting for rates to go down. Meanwhile, the houses that are left on the market for you are the ones that have, everyone else has kind of stepped over or looked at and just said that's not the right house for them. But the good ones are going quick. Like you said, you can always refinance down the road, in that aspect of it. So I mean, that's just kind of, I guess, more of the end of the episode's quick tip there. But from a buyer's, from a pricing strategy, and from a search strategy on how you want to look for pricing in those houses. So you're like, oh, I want to start at 250. Well, start your search at 245. And hopefully, we'd love to work with you here at Champions Real Estate Team, because those are those little things. The little things make a big difference. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that little bit of extra. Is know what that extra is going to get you. And go just a little bit below, or even a little bit above where your search criteria is, and you're not able to sometimes search that on those third-party sites, because it goes from 275 to 300, and you're going to get all those other houses. We can really fine-tune that search. And ultimately from a listing standpoint, I kind of chuckle when I see the Kmart prices, and I'm like, well, they just missed all the people for $100, or 299.00. Okay, for $1,000 you missed everybody. So it's like, it is what it is. But anyways, yeah, excuse me. But yeah, so I'll get off my soapbox here. But yeah, so there's a lot of things, obviously, being in this business for going on 17 years now, that you learn the little tricks of the trade. And that's, even the agents on Champions Real Estate Team maybe not have, the years of experience, but they're teamed up with us. And those are the things that we coach and we educate, our agents on our team, so that you're getting the benefit of all that years of experience from everyone here at the Champions Real Estate Team. And then meanwhile, teaming up with someone like Russ Williams at Williams Mortgage that knows the ins and the outs of the mortgage industry, that, hey, here's a grant program for first-time home buyers that we can potentially get you some assistance on that down payment. Or, hey, here's the difference between, putting 5% down versus 3.5% down, the upfront funding fee that's you're paying Uncle Sam more money to get to that loan, and we can piecemeal all these things together to give you a good package to buy a house, or even obviously sell your house, in that standpoint of it. So, selling your house, if you need a bridge loan or things like that, that Russ can help you with, that's other things that Russ can help you through there. So yeah, anyways, that's kind of all I got for today. I'm gonna go hang out with the kiddos on a snow day. So they were I was very fortunate to get 10 minutes here to jump on into my little video here. But appreciate everybody. I don't know if Russ says anything else, closing or
No,
anything.
that
All right.
covers it. Be safe on the roads, and spring is here.
Yeah, awesome. So, and yeah, I got another listing coming up here the first week of April in the Morton Meadows area. So I'll be on the lookout for that one. So you're kind of hearing it here first before it even gets on the market here. But my professional cleaners are going to be in there that week. So the house is going to be basically move-in ready and all that good stuff. So it's an awesome house. Yeah. So if you have any questions, give me a holler. And thank you for watching. And if you like, subscribe, all that good stuff, give us a review and all that good stuff. If you have any questions, let us know and take care.